Delaware Double, the Monument Mythos. Here we go.
An accidental discovery made by two fishermen has sent shockwaves across the nation. Around 4 p.m. on Christmas Eve, Ralph Grassman and Michael Tillman were reeling in their last batch of catfish when something on the ice caught their eye. It looked like a bicorn, one of those hats from way back when, said Grassman, the other of the two who had also organized the trip. Grassman walked down the ice to retrieve the hat. When he pulled back the hat from the ice, tumbled back in shock at the sight of a human scalp, partially exposed in the ice. Tillman walked over and after a brief discussion with Grassman, agreed to remove the rest of the body from the ice. The effort took several hours, but by 10 p.m. the fishermen were able to pull the entire body from the ice with no further damage. Although both men had presumed that the individual was already dead for some time, Tillman exclaimed in shock when he reportedly saw the individual's eyelid twitch. Grassman suggested to immediately take the body home and attempt to revive the frozen man. They proceeded to carry it back to Grassman's apartment. They laid the body in a full bathtub.
Bro, why is the bathtub yellow? I have never seen a yellow bathtub in my entire life existence. It is the ugliest. I mean, it's maybe not the ugliest, but it's definitely interesting. I've never seen this in my life.
Gradually raising the water's temperature throughout the night to prevent shock. Grassman claims to have learned this technique from a pulp magazine he had read as a child. At 2 a.m. the following morning, Tillman claimed that an individual briefly regained consciousness and shouted, "Victory or death," while Grassman rested in the living room. By 7 a.m., the frozen individual appeared to have relapsed into a deep coma, which prompted Grassman to phone the local authorities. And that's why he hadn't called medical personnel earlier. Grassman told reporters that he didn't want to risk the lives of the first responders.
Wait, what?
The following morning, Tillman claimed that an individual briefly regained consciousness. At 2 a.m. the following morning, Tillman claimed that an individual briefly regained consciousness and shouted, "Victory or death," while Grassman rested in the living room. By 7 a.m., the individual appeared to have relapsed into a deep coma, which prompted Grassman to phone the local authorities. And that's why he hadn't called medical personnel earlier.
Yeah, he was de-thawing a frozen man.
The first responders, who had been driving on slippery roads in the dark. Shortly after being phoned, paramedics arrived and rushed the frozen man to the Delaware State Hospital. Throughout the experience, both fishermen thought that the individual's face seemed vaguely familiar. It was only when Tillman pulled out a dollar bill that the connection was fully made. When we first dug him out, we moved his clothes so that we could carry him more easily. Clothes weighed a ton because they were completely frozen over. By death, we saw the clothes without ice, and we could have no doubt that we dug out George Washington.
What?
Although Delaware State Hospital has declined to comment on the identity and the condition of the man, Grassman brought the bicorn hat from the previous day to the Delaware History Museum, where historians confirm to be an authentic piece from the 18th century. The validation raised more questions than answers, as further research revealed that no Washington reenactors or artifacts have been reported missing. Grassman believes that the man he dug out from the ice is the true George Washington, and the former president had become gravely ill while crossing the Delaware River. Grassman claims that the imminent death of Washington could have been devastating to the war effort, so his condition was likely kept secret by having a double acting as the president until 1797. And asked for an explanation to why the body had been found so far from the site of the battle, Grassman replied, "He either drifted away or his men purposely planted it far away so that no one could find it." During Saturday's morning press conference, President Dean shared his thoughts on the discovery in 2 words.
President Dean.
"I'm surprised."
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Very nice.